Hello and welcome to Game RTs, a committee of the American Library Association's Low Stress High Mayhem event in which we play games together and figure things out, talk about them, and basically gather some librarians together, play together, and talk about how this game might work for a library. My name's Russell Brandon. I'm the current programming committee member and the data services librarian for Fenton Memorial Library at the Mississippi University for Women.
And I'm Danielle Costello, the current Game RT event programming co-chair. I'm a research and instruction librarian at Louisiana State University, where I teach library instruction and develop programming for the student body. And today with us is our special guest, Liz. Please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Liz Brown. I work for the Baltimore County Public Library System, and I am the secretary of the Gaming Roundtable.
This event is being held live. However, if you need or would like to watch it again, then we have a Twitch on demand accessible right after we end the session. And if you aren't following us on Game RT Twitch, please do so. We have a bunch of fun stuff coming up, and we're really excited to build and share the channel. Links for all the places you can find us, like our blog, Facebook, Discord, upcoming events we posted in the chat, so please keep an eye on that. And for anyone not previously familiar with Games RT, we are the Games and Gaming Roundtable of the American Library Association. Our mission is to promote gaming in libraries, whether that's programming, collection development, community building, prototyping, playtesting, research, or high shenanigans. All of that falls within our preview, and we're really, really excited to showcase our program today. But first, Russell will go over some new events and upcoming things happening.
All right. So along with that Twitch programming, we also have two professional development series that we run regularly throughout the year, a webinar series and a learn and play series. These events usually alternate each month. Next week on the 15th from 4 to 5 p.m. Central, we have a learn and play on the Royal Game of the first game, supposedly. I mean, as far as I understand it, the first game, at least as far as like tabletop is concerned. So that's really cool. That's going to be hosted by Regina Booley-Sweeten and Thomas Vose. And then next month in December on the 12th at 12 p.m. Central Time, we'll have a webinar by P.S. Burge, Dice Zines, and Pirate Queens, Queer Horizons, and Tabletop Role-Playing Games. Sure to be some really cool content there. Be able to find out some, good last-minute gifts to give your ttrpg nerd that is close to you. Also, again, just a reminder, please make sure to check out our various social media platforms, all that sort of stuff. And as far as Twitch goes, we're still experimenting, still figuring things out, and love engagement. So please feel free to post in chat as things are happening. For right now, our next session on Twitch is going to be Roundtable next week. Am I getting this date right?
Yeah, Tuesday?
Yeah.
So Tuesday?
Oh, yeah. Next Tuesday on the 15th from 12 p.m. To 1 p.m. Central. And this is going to focus on how grants can be used to build library game collections and programs. So now that we've explained on that, let's get on to today's program. Low stress.
High mayhem.
So the format in general, again, as we've explained, is we pick a game and then we play that game. And then we discuss that game, and all in the context of being wonderful, nerdy librarians that we are.
Best job in the world. Yes.
Play forever.
Play forever, work forever. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. We will grab them as we can, but generally we grab them all at the end during the discussion section of the program. So let's get on to the game, Halo and Horns by Connie Chang.
Okay.
And what's nice is we have a resource doc. So if you want to follow up on the how the game's rules are, or you want to follow up on all of Connie Chang's wonderful, amazing work, please go and follow that link as well. Russell, you want to explain the game? It's one page and it's amazing.
It is a functional one-page rule set called Halo and Horns. I'm going to go ahead and read the introduction. Halo and Horns is a one-page comedy RPG about an angel and a devil trying to make a mortal do something, tailor-made for an actual play environment. So again, this is newer in many different ways for us as far as Low Stress High Mayhem is concerned. One, it's a shorter game, more stripped-down rules. It's a game designed to be watched by other people. So in this case, we're playing a game that's mainly designed to be streamed. Also, we have our third player here in kind of this asynchronous arrangement where we are acting as the angel and devil and are going to be, we both have secret objectives that we will not be revealing to our mortal. If I can get OBS going, if I'm not too distracted, we might be able to reveal that to our studio audience, but otherwise we will reveal the objectives some other method. Our goal is to basically shape the world, introduce NPCs, describe things, have events happen that will then impact our wonderful mortals' decision-making process, leading them ever closer to either maybe the devil has a nefarious goal in mind, maybe the angel has a charitable goal in mind. Either way, we get to do this improvisationally, and basically we're going to be taking turns telling this story of a person living in the world, but having these two, deific characters imposing their will on them indirectly.
Now, there will be one note. So we are both co-GMs in this wonderful world that Liz has set up the kind of basics for us, but we can't do a couple things. One, we can't violate the mortals' agency by telling them how they feel, what they do, or how they think or how they look. This is a little different than a lot of normal, typical GMing that you might have seen. So we can set up many obstacles for each other, for our characters to kind of interact with our wonderful mortal, but we cannot. Liz has full control and full agency of her character and what she wants to do, which is wonderful. We have goals, but ultimately Liz is going to decide whose goals get to be achieved. Second, we cannot play the other GM's NPCs. My characters are mine to do with what I wish. Russell's is his. It's very much a game of yes and. There's a lot of improving that's going to be happening. So you might want to check out the improv section of your local library if you want to learn more about those fun things. A librarian will definitely help you. There's our plug for all of our library folks. And then we cannot also directly contradict a thing that a co-GM has made. So once again, it's all yes and. If Russell decides it's raining, I can't be like, but it's not actually raining. It's like, I gotta get some umbrellas out there. So, yep. What else? Do anything else?
That's how we introduce it. So basically, how again, this is. We've essentially covered. Single page and not back.
You've learned the game. Excellent.
Yeah, that is the game. It's basically improv with two characters imposing on another character, and just playing the game part to kind of start us out. The game begins with the mortals setting the scene. They tell the audience what they look like, where they are, and what they're doing. Next, the GMs introduce NPCs and add scene details in order to advance their objective and threaten their rivals. The game ends when the mortal accomplishes an objective or when one of the GMs throws in the towel, whichever is funnier.
High Mayhem. High Mayhem. Just like our tagline. So Liz, we kick it off to you. Introduce us to our world and your character.
Sure. So the mortal in this case will be a female character named Tiffany Knepp. She is in her mid-30s. She's kind of unassuming looking, and she works for a receptionist at a real estate firm called Boylan's Real Estate. It's in a mid-sized city, very average place. So she works as a receptionist. And a little background about her is she loves reading fan fiction and romance novels. Her fandom of choice is Gilmore Girls. And she also has a habit of Instagram doom scrolling. That is what she does in between calls at the real estate office. And then she also likes to do indoor rock climbing in her spare time. Her greatest fear is losing her job to an AI call center. And her greatest hope is to one day get a dog, because right now she has a roommate who's allergic to dogs and their apartment is too small for a dog. So one day she'd like to make enough money to move to a bigger place where she can get a dog.
And I guess it's not called for within the context of the game. We can introduce our kind of angel devil character, so you know who is puppeting all these shenanigans. This is an extension of the Gabby Ralph verse. If you watched any other Low Stress High Mayhem, we've decided we're just going to run our characters into the ground and see how many expressions of them we can figure out. So for some reason, Gabby and Ralph have ended up deified into an angelic, Gabby's the angel, and a demonic counterpart in Ralph. And so we'll describe our character again. Gabby is a short, rotund Filipino, very happy, very face forward into her life. She doesn't think too deeply about before she goes into action, but she has learned to be less naive, and she has learned to care very deeply about her best friend Russell. So good stuff about her. We don't know how they got deified. I'm sure we can find a game that figures that out. But
maybe it's like the nth year of whatever this is. These are just concepts of Gabby and Ralph, someone.
Wibbly wobbly time shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ralph is at this point is probably going through an emo phase. Maybe he's wearing very big. He's wearing like Jinko shorts, not like a ton of chains. It's like not. It's more so he started wearing them because they're comfortable, and as a function of that, people just like assume that he's like an emo kid, or he's like, maybe like a little bit edgy or something like that. When he is the same Ralph, he's still like pretty chipper and, kind of, just kind of wobbly as far as things go. But one of the big things is that he discovered Slipknot. That's it. He just has a Slipknot shirt.
That's what turns you into a devil, Slipknot. Not sponsored. I don't know. Oh no. We will wait. Excellent. So Ralph, here we are again. I'm another mortal to do our objectives. I wish you a fair game and good luck.
Roughly shakes her hand. It's just like, I don't even know what we're doing here, but this is gonna be fun, I guess.
It's gonna be amazing. I love it.
So where, I guess now the question is where are we starting out with Tiffany, Liz?
Yeah. Start of your day.
Yeah, I think she has been in the office it's a Tuesday. She's been at the office for maybe an hour and a half, enough like to settle in and get caught up on email and start to get bored.
Do you have like a cube? Are you living in Cubelandia, or is it a single office?
So since she's the receptionist, she's like at the ground floor entry level. She's like there's like the security. If there's a security guy, he has his desk, and then she has her desk with like the phone array and her computer screen. But it's like one of those tiered setups where like she's just looking over the top.
Okay.
It's just her head that you can see over the top of the counter.
Then I imagine there's a radio at the security guard's office. You hear Chad Chasley with the morning news. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day in Normalsville. It is an exciting day where I guess I'm gonna have to get some news out before we get the tunes out. All righty. It's your local shock jock, Chaz Chasley, announcing the morning news. And he's really excited. He's very chipper. This is this is not a new occurrence. You've heard Chad Chasley a billion times before. But what is strange about his news is that there apparently is a dearth of volunteers and professionals within the just so many lacking in the veterinarian and service industry of shelters and stuff. Like there's just a lot of puppies that aren't getting homes, and it's very sad. And Chad is like weeping and kind of sobbing. Like normally he's very happy, but it's like, yeah, I just don't know what we're gonna do with all these puppies. Like I don't know why there's so many puppies, but it's very sad. So, and then goes back to like, who let the dogs out?
Yeah, when Tiffany hears this, she definitely like has a pouty face on, thinking about all those sad little puppies that need pets. But she's staying behind her desk. Yes.
And as maybe the who let the dogs out is kind of winding down a little bit, a guy in a bright yellow tie, crisp blue shirt, the office manager. So not necessarily a boss, but someone who kind of just got this job because they are related to Boylan. This is Bill Boylan. And he, again, that crisp blue shirt, he kind of walks up and with a coffee mug in his hand. Yeah, hey, Tiffany. So I was just wondering if you would be willing to help me and the rest of the office with some social media posting.
What kind of social media
Oh, great. I'm
posting?
so glad you're on board for it. So we need
No.
some updates for LinkedIn and kind of getting certifications and endorsements through. If you go ahead and log in, you'll see that I've already endorsed you as a primo administrative assistant for the office. If you could just send that back to me, maybe talk about how great of an office manager I am, give me that sort of endorsement, and you can do it for other people in the office as well. Thanks.
Okay. So she's definitely going to do that. However, she has not set up a LinkedIn profile. So she's starting from the very beginning here. It's just the blank gray square with the outline. She does do what Bill asked her and endorses his profile, but then she spends most of the morning trying to figure out the most passive aggressive and backhanded compliments that she can pay without actually getting in trouble. Like very much like being aware of Bill's understanding of himself and playing into that.
You
Yeah.
see a hand come up like on the other side. Thanks, Tiffany. That's great. Appreciate it. I sent you a friend request.
That friend request is not going answered. But that and that is going to take her all morning. Like that is going to, she will not be finished by lunchtime, but that is what she's going to be working on.
Okay. As she's working on LinkedIn, an ad ding pops up. And then another ad ding if you close it. This is a very persistent ad, and it's like 50% off.
She closes like all the first 3 to 5 and is very annoyed. But I think at some point she misclicks and expands it as opposed to Xing, hits the maximize rather than the X.
Okay, and it is an ad for Chewy, and it's it is a fantastic ad. It is like 80 to 90% off, like dog leashes and collars and just food.
So if it has dog outfits, that's what's gonna hook her.
What season is it, Tiffany? What are we around?
I think it's early spring, that time when it's like still too cold to be comfortable, but like but no matter what you dress, you're wrong. Like if you wear a jacket, you're too hot. If you wear short sleeves, you're too cold. Like it's that awkward. Like
it's the perfect April.
February, March.
Okay, yeah. February, March.
It depends on what region you're in.
We're down in the South here, where it's like, what is perfect season? But so yeah, there are beautiful an array of like last chance little heart outfits for puppers, and then just getting into 4-leaf clovers for your hamster, like a 4-leaf clover just like that will be running around. There's even one that's in preparation for May Day, Puppers of the World Unite. So there's so many outfits.
It's gonna be like the thing that really she will spend the most time looking at are like doggy raincoats of various kinds. That's gonna take a while.
This is one of those kind of intelligent apps that kind of, as you just hover and stop, just briefly on one thing anymore. It's starting to really get into your interests. So if whatever you've stopped on, it's really, it's like, wow, it's kind of like reading your mind. Possibly, who knows how spam and apps work nowadays? Terrifying.
And like she catches herself daydreaming about the dog she wants to adopt, wearing all these cute outfits and with the coordinating leashes. And she's like, but that'll never happen. I don't.
You hear
Eh,
behind you the sound of sucking teeth.
Oh no. That's disturbing.
And if you turn,
Yes. Yes, Tiffany is startled very much and turns.
Bill is there with half a like sandwich in his hand, kind of leaning on the end. Oh yeah, I was thinking about getting one of those for my dog. Hey Tiff, thanks again for the LinkedIn stuff. I went ahead and went around the office, got everybody coordinated, giving each other accolades, really boosting that social media profile. We got to get our SEO up. So here is what I am thinking. How would you like the title of office sub coordinator?
Does that come with a raise?
We can discuss that if you'd like, but only if you're okay with taking the title.
And
your phone buzzes, and it's one of those missing
Take that.
child, but it's not a missing child. It's like a missing labradoodle.
See, that was surprising. I thought the phone was just going to call for an appointment, and I'd have to answer the phone.
Those new Topaz appointments.
That's my job.
Those new Topaz alerts are so interesting now that they've introduced those. Yeah, I mean, so used. I have a dog. I have a Schnauzer. I would be so concerned if I lost. But I mean, are you down for that? Are you down for we can definitely discuss a raise. You're well in due for one, right? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Great. And he hands you a piece of paper.
Just make sure you bring Candy, the HR manager, into the conversation, and I'm happy to meet with you two.
That sounds awesome. Here is a slightly modified list of your duties as office sub coordinator, and I'll go check in. We're kind of about that, right? And you can see on the sheet of paper it has the exact same duties again, but you notice that also half of his job is now listed on that piece of paper. He has even taken the step of pre-signing it himself, and you notice that he's already gotten a signature from Candy.
What? Well,
work in through the like sliding door or the kind of like turnstile kind of entrance, a dog, like big giant Newfoundland, just running and is like barking and very excited. It clocks you and is like strict, like tail furiously wagging, runs up to you, grabs the paper and then runs off. It happens
through the turnstile, through like is it one of those like rotating doors?
Yeah, but now it's kind of stuck in the rotation.
Bill is now, he's in the other section of it. He's like, what? Who brought this dog in here?
I want to do a hard cut to both Ralph and Gabby being like, oh, that didn't turn out like I thought it would.
I mean, this is so hard. Like, how do offices even work?
I don't.
I mean, you're just supposed to give them, like, you sign a paper and then it happens.
And then the dog, it was like, dogs no commands. Get the paper, leave. Okay, hard cut back down to terrifying.
So what has the security guard reacted to the dog at all?
I think the security guard went on a break.
Okay.
He's on his restroom break. Bad security.
I mean, they need bio breaks too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Candy is going to go after the dog, and I guess Bill. I think we said Bill is going
Bill
after.
is there in
Yeah,
it.
so it's like
There's
It's
4
like a Scooby Doo
sections. Yeah.
cartoon where they're all going around in a circle. Yeah. How do those doors work? I guess
it's just a
Tiffany's
split,
going to
so
like. So Tiffany's gonna like wedge the door so that the dog can run out, but it maybe in such a way that it traps Bill.
yeah. Bill's on the other side.
But yeah, like she's just gonna look for like a door stop or something that she can just wedge it.
Hey,
Yeah. Dog's just off.
And then she walks away, leaving Bill stuck.
Bill has his coffee still.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds her. She needs to go get a cup of coffee. And it's almost her lunch break. Yeah, she's gonna go on her lunch break.
Does Tiffany have a place she likes going best?
Oh, she's too bored to eat out. Are you crazy? She
yeah.
packs her lunch. She has a sad sandwich, and a bag of chips that aren't as good as they could be because they're the reduced fat kind, and some carrot sticks. And she goes and eats her lunch in the break room.
You hear a notification sound that you have not heard before. It is new to you. Come from both your phone and computer. Kind of one of those, delayed sort of things. You have the same tab open in both.
She checks it.
Okay, it's a LinkedIn notification.
Oh.
And so it is, in this case, it's not a notification because you've already seen like what the endorsements look like. You do notice there are several more endorsements that have come through and your profile's looking pretty good at this point. It is a message from Nail Yob's realty house. It sounds fake, but it's not supposed to be fake.
In normal land, everything is fine. Every generic name makes sense. Nalyab. Okay, boiling backwards. Okay. Take out some vowels and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And it is it's like a directed message linking to a job application with kind of just some basic logo header and things like that, and a brief message that says, saw you're an experienced administrative assistant in realty, we have an opening, no pressure. And then signed Lib Nalyab. Cut to Ralph and Gabby. She's like, what? I don't know how to make up names. I've been doing this for we just got here. I mean,
that exists.
I know, but it's this is a world where people
it's not sponsored by. You don't have to make a sponsored thing. You can say go, it's fine.
Everyone. Maybe back now, maybe Tiffany doesn't notice it, but there is sort of a glitch in the matrix for a second, and his name changes to Bob.
Oh, Link, and you miss it. While that is happening and you're reading that, a nice clicky clack comes in, and this is one of the more senior real estate agents. I'm gonna go with Seattle, Washington. She just leaned into it. Her she was destined for realty. She couldn't help it. Yes, she knows her name is Seattle, Washington. Yes, she's in wherever this is in the South. It's very weird for her too. But yeah, Seattle walks up and she's just like, Tiffany, I'm so glad I caught you. We're gonna have some really important people coming in. They're doing some really cool new projects with she opens up her binder. It's like a ton of stuff. She's a little bit disorganized. It seems like animal shelters. So if you could welcome them when they come in, that would be fantastic. Just let them know that I'm on the 3rd floor. Really appreciate you. I gotta go goodbye. And then she clacks off. And
Tiffany makes note of that and continues her lunch break because she takes the full half hour very seriously.
in the background, the radio is playing the Sarah McLachlan song and asking for
God.
donations. And so in
Oh,
the arms
God.
of an angel is playing.
Oh, okay.
You can donate now to help save us from the puppy apocalypse. Puppies, as far as the eye can see. You know?
She turns the radio off. 'Cause that song. Are you kidding? That song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that too. Bill now has a Red Bull in his hand. Wow, that dog was just so speedy. Not as speedy as my Schnauzer, though, right? I mean, they just cost so much to take care of. They can cause so much trouble, right? You know what I mean, right? You've got a dog.
No, actually, I don't.
Don't. I mean, don't even worry about it. It's, you can, I mean, they have dog parks you can go to, things like that. Speaking of which, we have a big thing going on upstairs sometime soon, and we need to pick up some snacks.
Oh, where?
Well, the store street. You know the little corner market that's down? If you could maybe go out, get some healthy snacks, get some fancy snacks, and then I'll make sure to cut you a reimbursement form.
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Thanks, Tiff. You're so great. And he just starts, he vibrates away.
Vibrates. Ralph, I know that's a real human. Like, is that a real human?
I mean, my mom has there's a guy who my mom works for. I've never seen him not drinking caffeine. His hair is always up.
How many caffeines can a human have?
I don't know. I mean, we're figuring it out right now, right?
Okay.
This guy's pretty much.
Make sure he chugs some water too, because I don't know. He looks a little not okay.
It's kind of like.
Okay. And then, do you go to get snacks now, or are you going to wait a little bit first?
So yeah, I'm sure by this time she's done with her lunch break. So she, tosses her trash, grabs her purse, and switches over the calls so that they stay on answering machine or whatever. But yeah, she'll go to what are bodegas called in the South? I don't know.
Corner store, gas station.
Corner store? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll go to the corner
Dollar
store.
Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll go there. And she will be making the time last as long as possible. Was the thing Bill was talking about the same event that Seattle was talking about?
Yeah.
It's the same. Okay.
It's the same event.
So yeah, she is going to she's like taking her time, perusing the aisle.
Oh no. Liz, come back. Ralph, I think it just our connection blacked out.
I mean, it's probably the same as when we're talking on the phone and there's someone who's on the other side of the planet. I mean, in this case, it's I don't know if this is a universe thing.
I thought Wi-Fi would have been better, in heaven, hell, whatever. I don't know where we are or why we're doing this, but it seems cool.
Yeah. Seattle, Washington is a really cool name. That was such a good idea.
I'm so excited. I was like, what is a real estate person? They would have to be named after a city.
Yeah. I wonder.
That's how you know the real estate.
Hmm.
I wonder how we get our view back. Oh no, it's a 404.
That's
It's
all right. She'll
gone.
rejoin. We'll reconnect here in a second. One
So-
moment.
While we pause on our beautiful adventure, and yeah.
And we're back.
I don't know, Ralph. I think we broke the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes maybe we if I and Ralph is currently like standing like this, and he's just like, if I move this way, maybe for this, and then
Oh, she's back. She's back. And hard cut.
And
Tiffany was
yeah,
headed-
Tiffany is just spending a really long time picking out snacks for everyone. Not because she's putting a lot of thought into it, just because she really wants to get the snacks she wants.
On the TV, let's see. August the Tea is a new up and coming TikToker, under the desk style. He drinks tea and gives you the tea. He is up on the regular TV. He's finally made it to an actual real NBC style show. And August the Tea is giving the tea. It's like, look, guys, puppies. I don't know what happened. God, the universe demanding us have puppies. We all should, adopt one. Maybe the universe is telling us because there are so many puppies. Like, let me show you a graph, and it's a graph of puppies prior to this day, kind of a middling amount, and then just a straight line up, like to the amount of puppies that now have exist in the world. An act of divine intervention that we don't know, but like I'm telling you, the tea is you gotta adopt a puppy today.
the clerk behind the counter is kind of just. I bet that has something to do with inflation or something. Just too many puppies. Is this going to be it for you?
Yeah, this is it. And she just pays.
All right, like total of everything. Oh, hey Bob, how's it going? And you see a gentleman in a kind of like not a flared shirt, but like no tie, walks in. He's got like slightly longer hair. He looks like he's just like put out a cigarette outside, and he's kind of like fluffing out his shirt. And he's like, "Hey, Steve, what's going on, dude? Oh, hey, oh, excuse me. Are you finished with your transaction?"
Yeah, she has like two giant bags of chips and things that she's getting out the door.
Yeah. At all, or?
No, that's okay. I got.
Cool. Yeah, Steve, can I just get a pack of the yellows, and can you put this flyer up for me? I mean, I've been trying real hard, and you like kind of post this flyer up on the front of the little convenience store.
What does the flyer say?
It says it has it's Nalyob's Realty basically, and it has a lot of really cool looking numbers on it, like 401k, 403b, Humana, pay vacation, free coffee, in-house cafe, personal time. Yeah. And Ralph is just like, what other things?
A pool table, Ralph. A
And
pool
like
table. I
Roth
bet they
IRA.
That's what he knows.
Ping pong table. Yes.
Ping pong table. Yeah.
Ergonomic chairs.
Another worker walks out and has one of those big cardboard kind of displays for it's for Coke, but it's puppy Coke. So you know how they have all those.
Okay, Danielle. What does puppy Coke taste like?
No, puppy Coke. Rather than tasting, it's like, how you have name Coke? Like, this is for Dan. This is for Anna. Puppy Coke has pictures of puppies and the potential names you could have with your new friend. Like, if you're having trouble, like, this is the new kind of Coke marketing tool to get you to buy Cokes because they've gotten like the most of the share of the market. now they're like, look, your puppy needs a Coke. If you don't know how to name puppies because the puppy apocalypse, we've got names for you. Look, your Doberman Dan, your Shih Tzu Susan, all those. This is Tom Hopkins, a little tiny chihuahua. So
I like how there's probably like behind the scenes, like a contest going on to see which of the puppies will be the mascot of Coke. And there's like this, whoever sells the most Cokes gets to be the mascot.
Look, Tom Hopkins is doing really well.
But and Tiffany is just heading back to the office and proceeding to the third floor because things are going to need to be get set up pretty soon. She's probably running a little bit late because she took her.
A person walks by on their Bluetooth and they're like a dog walker and they're walking a bunch of dogs and they seem like kind of haggard as far as that goes. And he's just like, yeah, man, with this increase in puppies, I think I'm going to be upping my rates because there are going to be so many people with dogs and it's going to get I'm going to make it really expensive for people and kind of, mush.
A billboard style truck, the ones with the big LED on the side, also drives by. Price of dogs actually really cheap.
Ralph is just like, I don't know what the rules are to this game, but the puppet Coke was pretty good.
Yeah, I really liked your Roth IRA. That sounded cool.
It does sound cool, right? It makes you expensive.
Good job. And I don't have anything until go ahead.
Tiffany has all the snacks artfully arranged. Yes. And she sort of lingers around and grabs her secret stash of snacks and takes them back to her desk as people start to trickle in for this event. And like it's kind of that awkward period before people arrive. And they're just like some people, the early people have arrived, the late people have not, and they're just waiting for everyone to come in and so they can start whatever this meeting is. And and Tiffany's gone back to her computer because that part is boring, and she starts looking at the computer. How much does a dog walker make?
Oh, the computer immediately comes back and you see that you have another message from Bob Nalyab about the administrative assistant position.
So she starts to look into that job position. Just doing background research, being information literate.
As you're looking in, the kind of guest of honor comes in with her entourage of so many dogs. There's every dog imaginable under the sun. She has a couple in her, like double in her arms. Every walk and wake, and she's you can hear her talking like, yeah. I mean, I know that dogs used to be allergic, but now science shows that dogs are not allergic anymore to anybody. It's really weird. Like there's like 12 studies that literally popped on my desk this morning that said allergies gone. So,
oh man,
I feel Ralph and Gabby have gotten very ham-fisted with this hour.
Bill walks up and he's got a green tube, what looks like a green tube in his hands. Yeah, Tiff, could you keep an eye on our guest of honor and maybe like it's a doggy bag roll or a doggy, well, not the good bag, the other bag. could you make sure that the office stays clean? And
Bill, this is Seattle coming up. Oh, no, buddy, these are actually very incredibly intelligent dogs. They know how to use the restroom, and you could hear a flush sound as a dog walks.
Shiba Inu, just like.
Yeah, no, remember, we're trying to get them some real estate. We want them to, don't insult the dogs, Bill.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready.
But
Thanks, Tiff. Thanks, Miss Washington. Very much appreciate it. And Bill kind of like very quickly.
And Seattle's like, thank you so much, Tiffany. That was
just for
excellent.
flavor, the dog that comes out of the just for flavor, the dog that comes out of the bathroom just has a little piece of toilet paper.
Oh,
It's the cutest thing.
Oh man.
So yeah, Tiffany, you're totally invited to come. It's going to be a blast. We're going to talk about dogs. We're going to talk about shelters. We're going to talk about all the cool spaces where we can have dog shelters around the city, because dog apocalypse has happened, and puppy apocalypse. Oh wait, no, it's puppy apocalypse. The alliteration actually sells it. Yes, right. And then she's like escorting you and guest of honor and dogs into the space you prepared previously. If you would like to come, she will leave you if you want to stay at the reception desk.
Yeah. She'll go. Especially since Seattle is like has eyes on her.
Oh no!
She's gonna like hang in the back because
So she's hanging in the
she's
back.
the receptionist. What is she supposed to do at this meeting?
Yep.
But she's just there for the dogs. Am I back? How's that?
Yep, you're back. We got you. You're hanging out on the back.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. No, Gabby and Ralph were like furiously thinking, like, "Oh, internet, why?
Going? Where's she going?
Okay, she's hanging in the back. She's hanging in the back. Okay. Yeah. We both have chances. The puppies are gonna start to do tricks now. Just straight up. Like the most adorable, like they're walking on balls. They're doing little backflips. They're, several of them are like doing little like, hello, I want to shake your hand, and then roll. Like they go through the whole litany of every basic trick: shake hand, roll over, turn around, sit. And then, okay.
So Tiffany has her phone out and she is recording as much of this as possible, but she doesn't have a great view. So she's trying to figure out how to push through the crowd to get a better video of all these cute dog tricks, because that is going to be great internet fodder.
Mm-hmm.
You get another notification on your phone from LinkedIn. No background check required. 2 months prepay.
And I'd like to thank everyone who's come here today.
She swipes that away. Yeah. No.
And the really important thing is we're building community together, humans and animals, and all these shelters actually will have we're going to be needing to post out not only thank you so much Real Estate Corporated for finding us these really great spaces to put our shelters in, but we're going to also be needing volunteers. And the grant from the government, there's a pause, like, the federal government grant for the puppy apocalypse scenario has now made free housing available to anybody that wants to.
Ralph is like,
anybody that wants to change their line of business and be in dog care and taking care of these situations. So we're going to actually need housing for humans too. So if you like, and Seattle's just like, yes, my time has come. Like Seattle doesn't care why there's a puppy apocalypse or why there needs to be both shelters and like real estate for human. Like she's into it, whatever's going on. So I have a handout here. If anybody would like to, change jobs now. Let's be honest. I don't know what you guys are doing, but we play really well, and you'll have free housing and all the dogs you could want. So that's my presentation. Gabby's like, nailed it.
Ralph is just like, I don't know how to.
So I will say, once that presentation is over, like Tiffany gets stuck being one of the people cleaning up afterwards. So like there's like the stack of flyers left over, and like she keeps one for herself and she tosses the rest.
And there's dog hair everywhere.
And like it's let's see, there's dog hair everywhere. Some of the like number 2 is okay, but some of the dogs so she's like, if the meeting started at 3, she's probably just like, it's wrapping up and it's getting close to the end of the day now. And so before and trying to make it last so that 5.
Yeah. There's one lone dog waiting for you once you leave.
Standing next to Bill.
Standing next to Bill, yep. And it's like, once again, it's holding like the same copy, but it's all filled out except for its name and your name. Like, will become a puppy employee of the animal shelter and adopt me. Is Bill holding anything also?
No, Bill just goes, any chance you can come in early tomorrow? You hear your phone ding.
It's just a Tina No, I don't think that's gonna work, Bill. And she like quick walks to her computer station because she's so busy. Do you guys have any moves? I have a few in mind, but go
for
ahead.
it.
Yeah, it's all you now. We're at the kind of wrap up.
Ralph is like, she could do that. You could just like not do boss
Okay.
thing. Yeah. But I guess he's not her boss.
So she sits down at a computer because she has to like log out for the day. And she pulls up that Nail Jobs real estate job offer. And since she's already had to fill out like her LinkedIn resume, and it's so easy, she clicks submit before closing down her computer for the day. So she has that application in because LinkedIn makes it very easy. And then she like grabs her keys, grabs her purse, heads out the door. But instead of heading straight home, she stops by the local dog shelter just to put an application for volunteering in. And like she is that where we want to end? Do you guys have anything you want to add?
I kind of love that because that's kind of an inflection point, like for both of our objectives.
It's the in between.
No one wins. No one wins.
Well, Tiffany wins. Tiffany wins, and everybody that has a dog now because of puppy apocalypse.
Yeah.
You have disappointed however many people are viewing this by not having puppy cook be a real thing, Danielle. That needs to be a thing in real life.
I'm sorry, everyone. I will find a way to make puppy coke a thing. It might be a ribbon at Annual or Live Next. Keep an eye out.
Oh my god.
Stickers. We can make it.
I can make a sticker. I can 100% make a sticker.
So you can so you can just stick it on a regular bottle of Coke and it will become puppy Coke.
Okay, yes, this will be the real thing. The real joy was the puppet coke we drank along the way.
We drank along the way.
If you have any, we're at the discussion portion of our session now, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for the session of Low Stress High Mayhem. We are going to talk about what we liked, what we thought was really intriguing, and what will work really, really well for library. So put in your questions, put in your comments. First thoughts, everyone.
Co-GMing is different.
Mm.
Like even and like with the added layer of like I thought it was interesting because I feel like when I was initially thinking about this and approaching it, it was more competitive.
Mhm.
When in reality it's a bit more of a sort of like you're just filling out different routes.
Mhm.
And you're basically, because I feel like that's like we kind of, once we got into the gist of it, it
Mhm.
became we were both making like decisions. We were opening up decision spaces
Mhm.
for Tiffany.
I love the co-GMing because I think it's a helpful modeling tool because I had a little bit of struggle because I'm so used to describing the you see, you think, you feel all these things are kind of typical to how I GM a lot. And then it's like, oh no, I can't. I can just present a thing. And so it was nice to have another GM to bounce off of. It's like, oh, Russell did this. I will also model this. So I think you can have a very inexperienced GM with a somebody with a lot of GM experience and be able to learn quickly kind of different techniques and different styles that way, which I really, really enjoyed. Liz, what were your thoughts? Having two GMs.
I thought that was fun. Because I do have some experience playing these kinds of games, I thought it was really cool to have a player character start out with like describing the place. That's very much an inversion of roles. I do wonder if that would be as approachable for new players people who've never done TTRPGs before.
Mhm.
I could see, but I could also see, given that a lot of gaming dynamics are you have the one experienced person who's trying to bring in newer players, that actually might work to the advantage if the experienced player is playing the player character, the mortal in this case, and then it leaves like the agency to be the GM to new people. I think that's a really interesting,
Ooh,
a really
that
interesting way to play and really interesting way of gaming.
I agree. That would be a great dynamic because once again, the modeling of what you want your players in the world. If it was the librarian was the player character, and it's like, okay, you both GM to me, because the GM, like one of the things I think is nice about kind of more different thoughts of how to GM is more of a collaborative experience, and having two newer people, one have to cater to a player and be very cognizant of the player's agency as well as being sharing nice with each other would be a great way to get some new people into kind of different headspaces for how different RPGs could be played.
It's almost like boundary setting is baked in as like a mechanic
Yeah.
because I mean, and
And I
not
think it really, yeah. And I think it worked well for a lot of the groups who we serve as librarians. So teens who are kind of needing to learn how to do conflict resolution, how to, work together, and who are still learning deals. I think it's a really great one for setting up that kind of expectation.
Mhm. And I think also if we're thinking about what other programs maybe we want to tie this into, obviously if you can get improv people in to be like, here's how to do improv, a very easy kind of connection with collection and, an outside wonderful source. Or if we want to talk about story and how story works, because I think a lot of the times, Russell and I have talked about story a million times, and I love it because we both are kind of simpatico in the stories we enjoy and like. And so the setup where it was like, person is talking and bring something happens, like, or you do something and then we do this, and then the hard cut up to like, Gabby and Ralph first, like we were starting to really get into sync how we wanted cinematically the story to play out and where we wanted to go. And it's so nice that like, yes, I did think it might be competitive like the previous PvP game, but would end up being so collaborative because it's like, oh, I'm going to set this up so you could do this, thing really cool, or you can do this thing. And so it's setting up um, that really, like you said, great decision space, not just for Liz, but also you as well, and you for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how, I mean, this is, an improv game to a degree, like one of the more like classic Whose Line Is It Anyway sort of games, but storyfied. So like rather than it being, like the sound games and stuff like that, where you have two players who are making sounds and the person on the stage has to like justify it.
Mhm.
And so like in this case, it was very much the mortal is justifying all of these things in the world based on their interactions. And then just how like just that one little like the success, getting the objective, or one of the GMs throws in the towel, like that
Mhm.
being the sort of just like giving the agency to say like, hey, this isn't about winning, this is about the story of a person with a shoulder angel and a shoulder devil. So,
And I like that as a GM, like our rules are very strict but simple because I think we took very different avenues because you took more character players and I was more atmospheric. Like things are happening in the world, things like you see and notice, and you're like, this player NPC is directly impacting you, which I thought was really fun and cool. So GMs that want to try different things have like the full opportunity to.
yeah.
And I don't see any comments from the chat, although feel free chat because I think we might ponder a couple more things before we end the session. Liz, any other thoughts?
We might have lost.
I do want to point out a little behind the curtain. How laggy am I? I see your faces.
You're good. Your sound is good.
Okay, okay, okay. I do want to put behind the curtain, like we talked explicitly about not making this a particular real religion. And so do you guys want to talk a little bit about how we sort of decided what was good and evil in this context? Because I think it doesn't need to be tied to anything like that. I think it's very open-ended.
I think, yeah, that was like we did a session 0 beforehand, and we kind of were trying to decide, are these actual angel and devil characters? They're not. It's just kind of the conception of like two diametrically opposed forces. Russell took on more of a consumption kind of force, and mine was more of a creative force. And so my goals and desires were kind of for Tiffany. I wanted Tiffany to do creative things, to live her life, to experience a thing that she hasn't been able to do before. And Russell's goals were more like, I want you to join this evil corporation that and continue into the soul crushing nature further.
Money.
So we played, just we figured out like, okay, it's not going to be really evil or good, it's just two opposed forces trying to sway a person towards their objective. And we made it really open of like, Gabby and Ralph don't know why they're there and why they have control over like reality right now, which one of the things was like, it's supposed to be goofy and supposed to be fun, and we picked the funnest answer we could all decide on was just two of our characters just suddenly having powers, and it's terrifically like, they shouldn't have, these two characters should not have the powers to change the world because they have ridiculous ideas. We also, during that session, I did want to talk about, we did go over safety tools, and we went over and made sure there were places, because some of the prompts were things that we wouldn't necessarily within the yes, script change was one of ours, so we could pause, rewind, we could hard cut and do lots of cool cinematic things and very easily make sure everybody's a-okay. But also we talked about like, made sure to check in with Liz. It's like, are these objectives, like what objectives would you not want us to do? Because we have so much agency to do, like make the world and try and push you towards something we don't want, push you towards something you don't want. And I thought that was really good to have a session 0 for this, because once again, Russell and I are used to playing with each other, but when you bring in somebody new, it's always a good idea to double check, make sure your boundaries, check in, make sure everybody's having a good time, having fun, and knows the direction you want to take your gameplay towards.
Mhm.
Which is shenanigans. I just want to play with Gabby and Ralph forever.
I will say that's probably one of the harder games that we've played so far. I mean, again, just because it's so open-ended and generative in that regard. I mean, it was even more enjoyable in that regard. So
Yeah. Once again, I love that we've made multi-layered kind of shenanigans, but Bill is my favorite character you've made. Like, I love Ralph. But Bill is such a treat to just like, I had to mute because I was dying laughing when you made him. Like, yes, I know this guy.
Everyone knows this guy.
And the idea of sweet, wonderful best friend Ralph trying to pilot this dude and like set him up for whatever, like he just kind of set him in a direction and Bill did his thing, and then Ralph's probably just being like, okay.
This guy, what is with this guy? He has his mini
Yes, it very much brought the Office Space vibes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I almost said red tie, but I was like, no, he has a red tie in that.
Mhm.
That was the image in my head was,
Oh, and his mayonnaise was definitely dripping. His
Yeah.
sandwich was definitely dripping mayonnaise.
Oh, that's so cool because I forgot to describe that. I
Mhm.
forgot to like, you see a glop of mayonnaise fall out of his sandwich as he takes a final bite.
And that's one of I think the joys of like when you can bring in other things like tropes or like characters that we know in TTRPG. Like this game definitely allows you to run into as many things that are referential as you want because it's high hijinks and it's like not trying to take itself too seriously. And there's your fourth wall breaking shenanigans. So it was a delight to see a character we all know. It's like, oh, Office Space. Oh no, we know how this is gonna go. And then yes, thank you so much for the little toilet paper and the doggy. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, that flavor text. Brilliant, Liz. I also knew, I think it was very obvious towards the end what our goals were, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do other things. I'm gonna do what I want. It's like, yes. Close, but not quite what we want.
Yeah.
Beautiful storytelling.
should we reveal what our objectives were?
Yeah, I fully wanted her to get like to adopt a dog. It was very
And
ambitious.
so mine was to take the job at that other place, but secretly that other place you would have been the only person working there. And you would have been in charge of a bunch of AI.
Oh my gosh. That is so dark.
Yeah. That was I was just imagining like if we had resolved to that, like there being a moment where Ralph would have been like, this is kind of messed up.
Well, but also in a way that I created, like mine is such a benign goal, but I made the world so much worse.
There are too many puppies.
There are too many puppies, and I'm like, consequences, whatever. I think that was the great balance of our characters. It's like you're just trying to like yours is maybe soul sucking, but ultimately you didn't hurt anybody, and I made a natural disaster, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
This is why you can't trust.
I just think it's really interesting that the game really accommodated both of your playing styles, because Russell was very much like the insidious choices people have to make, and Danielle was very much large scale effects that completely changed the world. And there's room for both, which is really fun in this kind of.
Oh,
Yeah. I think that's another strength is like usually you get one DM at a time. Having two DMs at full power doing both play styles at the same time is like a treat. Just a delight and a treat, I think,
It is fun too because you can have. I mean, I've co-GM'd on occasionally on like longer campaigns and stuff like that, and it's fun because especially playing NPCs can become that much more fun and like introducing things in that improvisational space with the idea being that like, hey, I'm introducing this new NPC, and it's expressly stated, hey, I'm going to contribute to the construction of that NPC, not dismiss them, which I think is a pretty common sort of, like school ground tactics. The, like, oh, I have a magic shield. No, I have a magic arrow that pierces magic shields. And in this case, it's like, oh, I have a magic shield, and your magic shield also allows you to breathe underwater. Sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel that was definitely the case where you're like, puppies are so hard, and then just side goes by, puppies actually aren't. They're great. Just ham-fisted, like,
Yeah,
no. The
yeah, just
time
like,
for subtlety is done.
oh.
I think that's definitely a part of the kind of role of the gameplay aspect is you create all these different paths, and the player knows that we're trying to lead them towards something. So as kind of opposing all these different paths or not going directly towards them, and eventually this escalation problem happens. Of, okay, how much like further can I take it? Where can I, what room do we have to like do stuff? And like we're eventually the raucous scene at the end where we're just both of us like just throw everything at it. I think that's great. I think that makes for a really nice one shot of like little like rising action, and then like the payoff is like, okay, well, what do you decide? That moment of like quiet, like, oh, a decision has to be made. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love playing with y'all. This has been
And Zach, in the future,
Yeah.
that might be a fun thing to do.
Excellent. Well, still no chats, but thank you so much for everybody watching, joining us, staying for the whole bit of it. Thank you so much, Liz, for persevering through tech woes. We loved having you, and we're gonna have another session with you sometime soon. So I guess we do our ending. This has been Low Stress.
High Mayhem.
And we are the Games Roundtable. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Bye.